Greetings and welcome to the show today. I'm Ray Adams. We are at the historic Wigwam Golf Resort here in Litchfield, Arizona for the Patriot All-America Invitational Golf Tournament, where many of the top NCAA players from all over the United States, England, and Ireland are invited here to play golf. Since 2011, they crown a champion every year. They'll do that later today at this beautiful Robert Trent Jones designed golf facility here at the Wigwam Resort. And by guest today, you know him, Major Ed Pulido. Major Ed, welcome to the show.
Well, what a great day to be an American, and congratulations on the show and to your team and to everyone. And look where I'm at in nice, sunny, 59-degree Arizona, baby.
Yeah, I saw a picture of your house, Major Ed, a few days ago on your Facebook, and there was snow everywhere.
Oh,
beautiful,
yes.
But it made me cold to look at it.
Well, this looks a lot better out here.
Yeah. Well, Arizona in the winter, you can't beat that, you know. You know, we were here 1 year ago today for this Patriot All-America Invitational Golf Tournament, and we were here filming with you, and it was all about your life, your wonderful book, Warrior for Freedom, the work you did with Folds of Honor for so many years, which is one of the beneficiaries of this tournament today. But today, Major Ed, on December 31st, New Year's Eve day, we are going to be talking about your brand new foundation.
Well, it's a very special foundation. And, you know, I got to tell you, Ray, one of the things that I've learned about just my experience is that God calls us to action. And in July of this year, God called me to action and told me that, you know what, you probably need to do what you said you were going to do on the battlefield on that day of August 17th of '04, and that is to take care of those that took care of you. And to me, that was one of the things that was missing in my life. I loved the work that I did at Folds of Honor for the scholarship families, but I felt like I needed to take it a step further and do something for those active service members and those veterans and their families. And I think to me, that just brings a flavorful thing where you join forces to take care of those three entities and make an impact in the lives of them, whether it's mental, physical, or in wellness support.
I think so many of the viewers know your story, Major Ed. You were a combat veteran, and on that day, you can tell us exactly what happened again. You ultimately gave your leg for your country. You are one of the great Americans that I know, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to be a friend of yours for so many years together.
Well,
and I've got to read from your book, Warrior for Freedom.
It's a good little book too. I'm on fire with that
I
thing.
read pages out of this book every so often when I need some inspiration. Boy, I tell you what, if you're feeling sorry for yourself, read Warrior for Freedom, because Major Ed went through a living, well, nightmare for a while. It turned around. You said it was the best thing that ultimately ever happened to you.
It is, and I just told that to somebody a week ago.
In chapter 11, Major Ed, you call that chapter Helping Others. And after, of course, your combat duty and your retirement, the loss of your leg, you write as a beginning of this chapter, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. And from there, you're quoting President Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
And that chapter, Helping Others, is what you're doing right now with John Daly. Tell me about the heart of a Lion Foundation. How did you ever get started with John Daly? How did you two come together?
Well, we've known each other a long time, and John has always told me, he's like, you know, I love what you stand for. I love your patriotic nature. You know, of course, he has a couple choice words from when I wear my prosthetic. But he understands, too, that, you know what, as I've told a lot of people, losing my leg was the best thing that ever happened to me. And what General Peter Pace told me, too, was very powerful. And he's like, you know what, you didn't just lose that leg on that day. You sacrificed it for your country. And that is why we got together. And John Daly and I, in early July, were together. I took about 12 of my good friends to a golfing trip with him. And one of the things that we talked about is, what will our legacy be? And of course, John is dealing with cancer, bladder cancer, and you know, he's had his own health issues. But I admire him. I think that we were just talking earlier about, just between us, about his tenacity and his understanding. And he's he's a golfer that everybody could love.
He's
you know?
every man's golfer. He really is, and he's been loved for years and years and years, even though he's had a little bit of a tumultuous life here and there, but everybody can relate to John Daly. And I remember when I saw him last month, I went up to him and I said, John, and he knows me because we filmed together before, and we've been in Orlando at Woody's, loudmouth apparel booth, and and we've had a lot of fun. But I said, John, Major Ed says hi, and I want you to know that I personally have you in my prayers through this time together. And he looked at me with a very, very solemn look, and he said, thank you. Thanks very much.
Yeah, and he's humble about it.
It's a touching moment.
Yeah, he's humble about it, and it's changed him, and I think it's changed his family.
He asked you on that day when you guys first started talking about this, what do you want to be doing 10 years from now? Tell me about that talk.
Yeah, and it was also about a legacy.
Yeah.
What legacy do you build on this? So just to tell you a little bit about A Heart of a Lion, we provide mental, physical, and wellness support to our nation's heroes and their families. We also take care of St. Jude's. We support St. Jude's and the great work that they do. Cancer is a big deal. My father was diagnosed with cancer. That's a different story as well. And then we also take care of the Boys and Girls Club. And that is real kind of into what John's Heart is all about. So when you look at our logo, it's the Purple Heart inside, John's lion, and the American flag around it. And what those three meanings are is that the fact that, we stand with our faith, we stand with our nation, and we stand with the men and women who fight for our freedom and their families.
I was going to ask you about the logo because it's one of the most unique logos that I've ever seen, with the heart and then the purple inside.
Correct.
Is because you are a Purple Heart recipient, of course. And then his logo, which is the lion that sort of has the whiskers and the hair. And of course everybody recognizes John Daly, and then of course the heart, because it's coming straight from the passion that is going to be your legacy with John Daly. So you talked about St. Jude's, you talked about some other organizations. It sounds to me like Heart of a Lion Foundation is where you're going to be bringing in dollars from corporate sponsors, individual donors like you and I. You're going to be bringing in revenues from golf tournaments and other things. I know John Daly is giving a portion of his earnings at his stops along the way on the Champions Tour, things like that. So those dollars are going to come in, but the foundation then actually funds other charity foundations.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, we've become sort of like a mini structured United Way is what I would say it. And I don't say it in that light of terms. I say it because, in a way, what we want is 5-star organizations working with us. We're going to be able to do programming on our own. We're going to take veterans fishing, hunting, golfing, and other things. But the thing about it is that we also want to work with other organizations. In the military space, I have noticed in my work that we have a lot of organizations out there doing great work, but do we truly work together? And if you really look at this event here at the Wigwam, it's a bunch of different groups coming together. This year, USAA came on board. And how powerful is that? And so the premise behind Heart of a Lion is, yes, we're going to utilize organizations to make an impact, but we're also going to have organizations that truly can do counseling services. I'm well trained and I have licenses in different things, but by golly, there's people that are experts. Let's let them do the work.
When we come back, stay with me. Major Ed is going to tell us more about what Heart of a Lion Foundation does, and we're going to talk about how you and I can get even more involved.
We'll be back with more Match Play right after these messages.
We all love comfortable and good-looking golf shoes, but what if changing your brand could actually help your golf game?
I put the squares on. I gained 5 miles an hour club head speed with my driver. My handicap's down to a 14 from 18 and a half.
When I noticed with the squares, they were comfortable, I immediately felt more stability.
These shoes are designed with the latest performance technology and engineered to give you increased balance and stability.
And in testing, they're proven to help you add distance.
You'll hit it squarer, sweeter, straighter, and longer. I love the look of them, and with the extra width, they're the most comfortable golf shoes I've ever worn. To feel good and play my best, I wear squares. Now you can wear them too. Just go to getsquares.com to find out more. That's getsquares.com.
Do you like Tour Edge?
I love Tour Edge.
This is seriously high tech. And they're long, right, Duff?
Built in the USA? Oh, I love that.
I need forgiveness.
Did I mention these puppies are long, really long?
You know why I love Tour Edge? It's because I win with it. Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Our windows have a story to tell, shouldn't yours?
Hi, I'm Bill.
And I'm Kathleen.
And we're the owners of American Vision Windows.
New windows not only beautify your home,
to make your home quieter, safer, and more energy efficient.
See the difference new windows can make in your home.
This month only, 0 down, 0 interest, 0 payments for 12 months, plus free installation on 8 or more windows.
We're still revolutionizing the home improvement industry, one customer at a time.
Call now or visit AmericanVisionWindows.com.
And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
Welcome back to Match Play from the beautiful Wigwam Resort here in Litchfield, Arizona. And of course, I'm joined by Major Ed Pulido, our guest today, talking about the Heart of a Lion Foundation. Major Ed, in your book, when you talk about the convoy and going through the IED alley, you call it, the blast occurs, and that's when you're wounded. General George Patton, you quote him before that chapter, and you say, where he says, live for something rather than die for nothing. And when we went out to break back now, you were talking about counseling and you were talking about helping wounded warriors, their families. Tell me a little bit more about what Heart of a Lion is doing in the way of the counseling and some other things.
Well, on the physical side, what we're doing is we're working with a group of prosthetic companies to give our veterans the best prosthetic technologies in the world. And access is very important. Our second real big pillar is healthcare. We're working with a group called Connect MD, and then what we're trying to do is make sure that telemedicine is a very important thing, but also the way we deliver healthcare services to our nation's heroes and their families. Our third pillar is the mental health side of it. And the mental health side, from counseling to peer-to-peer support, to making sure that people understand PTS or whatever we want to call it, PTSD, it's whatever it is.
We have so many of our military families losing the men and women that come home from war to suicide.
Correct, that's a big issue.
And that is a huge issue. But then I want to go back to the prosthetics, because there's so many hundreds of thousands of people that wear prosthetics. And I know that you know that that technology has changed from the first prosthetic that you received to today, allowing people to play golf and to ski and so many things. Tell me about the change in technology of prosthetics, and tell the folks if they are facing something like that or they're already wearing a prosthetic, what can they expect?
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, because one of the things that I learned from President Bush when I played golf with him, he's like, hey, is this one of the latest and greatest prosthetics? And he knew that it wasn't. And that was the most interesting thing I learned, because he knew, and he said, hey, we need to put you in for the new prosthetic. And guess what? Ever since then, from President Bush to President Obama to President Trump, all I got to do is make one phone call and get the latest and greatest in technologies.
And how has it changed? What was the difference from what President Bush noticed and what he got you?
Oh, the opportunity to be able to golf, the opportunity for this leg to drive you at the end of the day with energy and making sure that it's got the right focus to it. And you'd probably wonder, focus, what does that mean? Well, I want to be able to walk in a very good way, because not only will this hurt me if I walk improperly, this was going to hurt me not only in my back, my neck, and other issues that I've got to face. And a lot of people don't understand it. Like, you live with a lot of other issues that really come about each and every day in your life. And the thing is, adaptively, this thing is great. I have a great golf mode with it. I can strike the ball real well.
What company is your prosthetic?
This is Autobach, and it's got just the greatest technology. A lot of our amputees that are playing golf are utilizing this prosthetic technology. It's great. We've designed it to where, you know, you can actually have a golf mode to it and actually rotate the knee a bit. And, you know, this is my knee. This is all I got. And I've got to save this leg and this leg to make sure that I can thrive and be successful.
Let's drill down a little bit there, right there. There are so many people that are facing the loss of a limb. they may be watching you today. On that day when you were blown up by an IED on that road, and you lay there not knowing what was going to happen, live or die, and later they told you you had to have the leg be sacrificed for your country.
Correct.
Which you did. Was a black and dark day.
Oh yeah, it was very black.
And I know that you and your wife suffered through that decision. Okay. Tell the folks out there that may be facing that, for whatever medical reason, your heart, and encourage them.
Well, I'm going to start by saying that our mission statement tells it good at the John Daly Major Ed Heart of a Lion Foundation. Our motto is mission first, people always. That to me is the inspiration behind everything that I do. In the darkest hours and the darkest times of my life, I got to tell you, you know what? I think I cried last year a little bit, and the emotion behind what happens is it takes you. I was afraid, I was down, I was out, but the greatest thing is that my father and his comrades would come in my room and they would say, you know what, the mistakes that were made on us will never be made on you. And my dad's got cancer right now. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to start the Heart of a Lion too, because John and my dad got diagnosed around the same time. And how powerful was that I could take on his legacy of him being a Vietnam veteran and empowering other veterans to understand that the mistakes that we made on that population should never be made on the new population today. That is what John Daly Major Ed Heart of a Lion is all about. Our heart is about mission, and our heart is about people always.
It's an emotional moment, Major Ed, I'll tell you. I cannot relate to it. I don't pretend to try, but I feel your emotion and I feel your passion. So for someone who is watching right now and they know that they're facing an amputation and they're afraid and they think that, well, my life is going to be over, it's ruined, I'm going to be good for nothing, I can't do anything, my gosh, what do you tell them?
Well, and you asked me that, and I'm going to just tell it like it is. Never quit. Never quit on the precious gift of life. As we deal with this COVID-19 epidemic, let me tell you something. It's been something that I think has unraveled our nation. And I think one of the things that we can learn from it is that together we can beat this virus. Just like we've been able to challenge ourselves in what has happened in our lives. All of us have travesties. All of us have issues that we deal with on an everyday basis. But the thing about it is, how do you get out of that dark hole and see the light at the end of the tunnel?
All right, Major Ed, when we come back, folks, stay with me because Major Ed is going to talk about how golf is really driving the Heart of a Lion Foundation.
We'll be back with more Match Play right after these messages.
What's the difference between good and great? Good treats you like a customer. Great treats you like a friend. From saving you haircut details and clip notes to saving you time with online check-in, Great Clips makes your life easier, just like a great friend should. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. What's the difference between good and great? Good tries to get it right every time. Great actually does. With clip notes, we save your haircut details so you always get exactly the look you want. Great Clips, it's gonna be great.
Being able to, tee it up and look down at your square toes and see exactly where you're lined up. It's not only great on the range, but really nice on the course. Being able to have an extra tool is great on the tee box. With this square-toed front, not only is it great for my alignment, but I just have a lot of room and I just feel really comfortable. Think of these shoes more as equipment as opposed to apparel.
Bobby Jones, 30 years of classic style for the modern man, now brings you the Jones Performance Cotton Polo. Lightweight and luxurious cotton hand feel with moisture-wicking comfort. The Jones Performance Cotton Polo is engineered with an exclusive blend of carefully selected cotton and the optimal balance of modal and spandex. It's the perfect combination of classic styling and modern fabric technology. Designed for comfort, engineered for performance, and built to last. Look good and stay comfortable, whether you're out on the town or out on the course. The Jones Performance Cotton features a 3-button placket with the iconic Bobby Jones player embroidery. For superior comfort, style, and versatility. Get it all in the Jones Performance Cotton Polo.
The work that makes our courses playable also protects a diverse ecosystem of wildlife, and it's all done by your golf course superintendent. Return the favor. Say thanks today.
And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
Major Ed, when we went out to break, we were talking about golf and what great news it is that golf has really come back through this pandemic, as well as how golf has always been a part of charity and giving back to charity week in and week out, and for years and years we all know that golf gives to charity. How is golf helping Heart of a Lion Foundation?
Well, with this special opportunity working with John Daly, you know, I mean, double major winner. I mean, what an incredible individual. And him and I, you know what, we've shed some tears together and some love, and for him to let me put my name along his name and call it the Heart of a Lion Foundation has been a very special endeavor. Where we're going in 2021 is that we're going to do a lot more golf events. We're looking for sponsors. What we want to do is grow this foundation so that we can take care of more military families and also our nation's heroes. And to me, that is the catalyst for change, where what we can do is make a difference, and we can make sure that no one gets left behind on the field of battle. So help us God, and guess what? We're going to do it together. And with anyone that wants to join us, we've got sponsors all over. Texas Roadhouse, Bubba's 33. We were just at the PNC Championship last week. We are just moving and shaking, and the reason we're moving and shaking is because we really care about those that have sacrificed so much for our freedoms.
You know, you talked about prosthetic technology in the other segment. You talked about counseling for the military folks, the families and the warriors that come home. What are a couple other things that this Heart of a Lion Foundation is doing, or you plan to do?
Well, I think the other connector is the game of golf. And you know, with John and I spearheading that effort, doing golf clinics for our veterans, introducing them to the game and understanding that, you know what, you can go out and play for fun, and guess what, you know what, maybe you don't have to keep score. But the thing about it is that I think when we get these veterans out there and they're playing golf, or they're engaged in a hunting trip, or they're connected on a fishing trip, what we're building is a connection, an empowerment, and also a peer-to-peer support system that they can thrive and be successful. And we're going to help people with employment opportunities too. That is one of the things that's very important. And then the final one is really compensation and benefits. I will tell you, we can make so many improvements if people have the right compensation and benefits package.
Wow. All right, here we are coming into 2021. I want you to talk from your Heart of a Lion Foundation passion to the folks. How can they get involved, and where are you headed with this long term?
Well, they can go to JDME.org to give. They can also do events for us. Corporate community can get together and help us out. And I think what we're trying to do is just be difference makers in America. And I will tell you that this has been one of the toughest things that I've ever done. I told Chick Linsky, I said, you know what, I'm taking the leap of faith. And he's like, you're taking a leap of faith. This would be a leap of faith. This would be something very powerful. And I said, you know what, as apprehensive as I was to do it during COVID, then I told myself, why not? Guess what? The hardest things that we can do is during the most challenging times.
Some of the greatest accomplishments in human history has been during some of the blackest times in human history.
Yeah.
That is true.
In World War II, think about that. Just think about that war in World War I, but World War II specifically. Those people hitting the beach, they have 7 seconds that it may be that they're going to have their lives lost.
Some drowned when they came out of the boats because they were so heavy, and others were shot before they ever hit the water.
And that's the power of why we're the greatest nation in the world. And what bothers me today is that, you know, a lot of people downgrade this nation. This nation is the greatest nation in the world because guess what? We live by our faith, by our love for country, and certainly by our love for our family.
You know, in one of our earlier segments, Major Ed, you talked about teaming with companies both in the golf industry and outside of the golf industry, to be a part of funding and propelling Heart of a Lion Foundation forward. And one of those companies is the Golf Distance Shoe, a real disruptor in the golf industry. This golf shoe has been awarded all different sorts of awards, and it has been shown in independent studies to gain more distance if you wear this shoe. Sir Nick Faldo endorses this shoe. Sepp Strack on the PGA Tour, others are wearing this shoe. They're coming out with a ladies' shoe very soon, and I understand that they're going to do a special edition of the Squares golf shoe for Heart of a Lion Foundation. What about it? Tell it.
Well, they are, and squares.com, and Bob, I just want a big shout out to them. You know, the great thing about that shoe, it's going to be a red, white, and blue shoe, and then guess what? Proceeds will benefit Heart of a Lion, and so it's a winning combination.
So every shoe the folks buy,
correct,
some of those dollars are going to go straight to Heart of a Lion Foundation.
And to do the patriotic work that we're doing to help our wounded warriors and their families, and also our first responders, and so many great people, you know, that need our help.
Yeah.
And squares.com is going to do that. And you know what? Bob and I teamed up, and along with my good friend Chick, and we're going to make a difference. And you're part of the show too.
The thing about Squares, and I say that they're a disruptor in the golf shoe industry, and they really are. And that's because for so many people for so long, decades, golf shoes have been really, well, kind of part of their whole golf apparel. It's almost a fashion statement that your shoes and your shirt and your slacks and your skirt and all that matches. And that's all great. But golf shoes, these golf shoes, are really your next piece of equipment. That's a piece of equipment. And now that piece of equipment is going to help fund Heart of a Lion. I love it.
And you know what? When you give a little distance and utilize these shoes, guess what? You make an impact in our mission first. People always approach to making sure no one gets left behind. What a winning combination.
So you're going to be providing counseling, you're going to be helping the first responders, our military families, and our warriors coming home. Tell me more.
St. Jude's Hospital, Boys and Girls Club, and guess what? We're going to go out and make sure that these veterans have everything that they need to be empowered and improve their quality of life.
Major Ed, thanks so much for being with me today on Match Play TV. What a foursome. John Daly, Major Ed, Squares Golf Shoes, and Match Play TV. Thanks so much for being with me.
Do you like Tour Edge? I love Tour Edge. This is seriously high tech.
And they're long, right, Duff?
Built in the USA? Oh, I love that.
I need forgiveness.
Did I mention these puppies are long, really long?
You know why I love Tour Edge? It's because I win with it. Pound for pound, nothing comes close.